Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we'll talk about Galina Fedorova. She is dead. She died while drowning. According to the news story that broke at the time, I'll leave the link at the bottom of my video, she drowned during a photo shoot. Her photographer, who is British and goes by the name of Tarasov, but he is actually Russian. He possibly could hold a British citizenship, but he's of Russian descent. And she was having supposed shoot very close to NATO's firing range. And of course, that's a very suspicious location, and also there was a drone found on the boat. The photographer survived. It is still under investigation. But this is where let's look further into the life of Galina Fedorova. Who truly is she? Until this incident, she was not known to the majority of the world. She's originally from Russia. According to the bio, she was born and raised in Ufa, which is a Russian city. But none of her classmates or anyone remembers her. But then again, it could have been that she was very plain during her school years. When she turned 18, she moved to Thailand to work in adult nightclubs, which everybody knows what Thailand is usually known for. But again, that's her life. She apparently did some nude modeling and apparently appeared in adult films under pseudonym Love. However, I could not prove that information, nor do I know anything about such industry. If somebody else could look into it, they could, but I just don't have those details. But there's one interesting fact that's currently being overlooked, and it has not been on the news, and no one has talked about it. At the time of her death, she had journalistic credentials from Russia. She actually completed journalistic school in Moscow. So please tell me, how many adult models that moved to Thailand who supposedly involved in such industry and work in adult nightclubs have Russian journalistic credentials? Prior to her death, apparently she was living in France. Her bio does not tie her to any major Russian news outlets, so clearly she was not working for RT or one of the main Russia One or any of the main Russian newspapers like Komsomolskaya Pravda additionally. So none of that. The photographer is of Russian descent living in London now, claiming British citizen, changed his name a little because he changed a few letters of his name because his original name is supposed to be Oleg Tarasov. Now he goes by Ivs. He just changed his name a little bit to make it sound, but then again, anybody can change their name legally if they want to. It's not a crime, but usually people don't. It's very rare when people change their full names unless they need to have an alias, another identity, etc. So this is the facts. Now, what does it usually mean, journalistic credentials? In intelligence world, a lot of times journalistic credentials are used as a cover to go to the West or any other nations, Asia, etc., to do intelligence work. Because usually journalistic credentials give you journalistic immunity. It's the easiest way to get there. People in countries for permanent reasons and for long stays instead of having short stays or giving them new identities, like in case of like Bashar, who apparently traveled to UK in regards to Skripal's poisoning. So could it be that she was working in intelligence? She might not be an actual full agent. She could have been cut out. There could be multiple things that she could have done in intelligence, and it was truly unfortunate incident of drowning and she meant to do more work for Russia, or was it time for her to go because she knew too much, and at times, it was time to get rid of her, or possibly she overstepped or knew too much or did something that did not coincide with the needs of Russia or Kremlin. So could that be it? Because like I said, how many people do you know who model and have journalistic credentials? But that is not all. However, those two stories might not be connected, but nevertheless, there was a grandson of Nazarbayev who died this summer, well, not that long ago, from a heart stoppage at the age of 30. Now, very important details. He was in exile because he staunchly opposed what was happening in Kazakhstan, corruption, etc. and suddenly at the age of 30 he dies from a heart stoppage, which is, not very common. He did not have any pre-existing heart conditions or anything like that. Yes, natural causes happen, but this one is an odd one given the whole trajectory, and again, London. So, given that, even though cause of death would just say heart stop, I'm surprised Britain has not looked closer at his deaths and his connections. I'm not saying he was a staunch critic of Kremlin, but what I'm trying to say is that during the Soviet era, the choice of getting rid of people was poisoning. So it was adopted during the Soviet Union specifically, especially since more type of such substances became available and made specifically for that purpose. So could it be, and Kazakhstan used to be part of the Soviet Union at the time, could it be that he was just taken out basically, and heart stoppage could possibly be one of the side effects living alone? If you don't give medical help in time and you're by yourself, yes, your operation is successful. And then there's also Navalny last month, who clearly was poisoned. By whom, it's unknown. What substance is unknown. Germany classified that information. Russia obviously is not going to release. They just finished doing their chronology of Navalny's travel during his trip to Siberia. But again, nor here nor there. Russia is giving far-fetched theories that one of his people of his entourage, who's currently a British national, and her father has a biolab, that she might have been involved. But of course, there's also going to be counter-propaganda, counter-operations immediately in such story. But again, let's look at that model close to NATO. All this journalistic credentials. This does not sound like a simple situation, even though, yes, it could have been unfortunate, but there clearly could possibly be connection to Russian government in some sort. Might not be directly, might be indirectly. Somebody used her, somebody provided her those credentials, and clearly those credentials don't come by themselves. So somebody on a certain government level would be able to do that. So, what does everybody think? Please let me know. Always please click like and subscribe to my video. You can also read my articles under Kristina Kitova at www.communalnews.com. Thank you and hope everybody's having a good evening. Bye!